What's up, spectators? Welcome back to another episode of Ace Attorney 6, where we're in trial trying to find out who has the rightful ownership of the orb. However, it has no bearing on the issue of the ownership. I don't know what they're talking about now. I don't know. That was last episode. That was days ago. How so? Mr. Titian, I finally understand your position here. You had to hide the fact that you sent the crystal out to be studied. Your family would have been very upset if they had found out. It's a family heirloom, after all. You gotta be kidding me. Mr. Wright is, well, right, of course. But then he always is. That's why he's my lawyer. The crystal is a precious Titian family heirloom, and has been for centuries. But Dr. Buff was so eager to study its proud heritage, I just couldn't say no. I didn't even tell my grandfather. Objection! But in order to win the backing of your so-called benefactor, you were going to give what you claim to be the crystal of Amy Faye to that person. You were going to give a precious family heirloom away, just like that. I was going to explain everything to grandfather later, honest. My client's grandfather is very proud of his grandson for following in his footsteps. And if refusing him would have meant dashing the dreams of his darling grandson, I doubt the kindly old man could have said no. Well, grandchildren are meant to be spoiled. That's what grandfathers are for. Your Honor, please. I mean, it's been in the family for centuries. My grandfather thinks highly of my talents as a politician. That's why he entrusted me with this very important name placard today. Ooh, shiny. So I'm sure he would have been okay with me using the crystal as I saw fit. Grandpa's spoiled little brat. I think the judge is buying it, Apollo. No surprise there. He's always going on about his grandchild, after all. Excuse me! Can I leave now, Mr. Wright? I believe my work here is done. By all means, Detective Sky. Thank you for your assistance. You're welcome. It's nice to testify at a civil trial once in a while. See you around! It seems the facts have changed somewhat. Mr. Titian Wimperson apparently lent his family heirloom to Dr. Buff. Mr. Justice, how would the defense like to proceed? Oh. Alright, now what? Apollo, let's hear what they know about this so-called crystal of Amy Faye. Maybe we can find some inconsistencies in their statements. Right. Okay then, Mr. Wright. If the item in question really is an Titian family heirloom, then let's hear all your client knows about it. Of course. Mr. Titian Wimperson, please tell the defense everything you know about the crystal's origin. All right. Now then, listen and learn. This is the tale of the crystal of Amy Faye and the illustrious history of the Titian clan. Are you ready, kids? Our story begins back in the old country when the Titian family reigned supreme. My ancestor was praised as a benevolent ruler. He protected the spirit mediums, a minority back then, from the rest of the locals. Some discriminated against them, you see, while others tried to abuse their power. As thanks, Amy Faye gave the crystal she had specially made as a gift to them. I am a descendant of that great lord. As such, my political power and influence is backed by centuries of history. Well, that devolved into a great load of self-aggrandizing propaganda fast. As you can see, the crystal of Amy Faye is an heirloom of the esteemed house of Titian. And you have proof that it has always been in the Titian family. I have someone who gave a statement to that effect. My client's neighbor, one Ives Shanito, age 85, gave the following statement. The Titian showed me the crystal back when I was but a lad. Objection! He was talking. can we really trust the memory of an old man? Yeah, that's the right road to go, Apollo. Aren't all old people stupid? Mr. Justice, would you care to explain that statement to the judge? I didn't mean to generalize. What I'm trying to say is, that I'm only slightly ageist. Never underestimate the memory of your elders. I may forget my verdicts the next day, but the memories of my past are clear as day. Therefore, I find Mr. Ives Shinito's statement to be perfectly credible. Wow, did you see how Mr. Wright got the judge on his side? Yeah, he only does that when he's the enemy, of course. When I'm playing him, he's always like, oh, I pissed off the judge again. Oh, it's been like 50 years. Okay, that was obviously, shut up. That's definitely a trick I want up my sleeve. You're not helping, Athena. You may cross-examine the witness, Mr. Justice. Hold it! That object you set down there, is it something of importance to you? It's a name placard. This one here belonged to my grandfather, Abraham Matishan. He had it custom made during his distinguished political career. It's special because it was crafted from the finest Italian plastic. I wasn't aware the Italians were famous for their fine plastic. You can touch it if you want. No, I'm fine. Very well. I'll just continue with my testimony. My ancestor was praised as a benevolent ruler, but he was also an eminent politician. Hold it! So I take it the relationship with the Fae clan was a close one. A smooth and open line of communication with my entire electorate. That's the politician way. Huh? Oh, sorry. I was asking about your ancestor. Whether it's about me or my ancestor. Feel free to ask me anything you'd like. Transparency in government! That's the politician way. Now that I can get behind! Sounds like my kind of politician! More like dodging questions, that's the politician way. Thanks, I'll be sure to ask when I have something you'll actually answer. As I was saying, the Atishan family protected the Fae spirit mediums back then. Some discriminated against them, you see. Others tried to abuse, yes. Hold it! Spirit mediums were targets of discrimination. Yes. Some people even treated them like they were monsters. The transformation the mediums underwent when channeling spirits frightened the locals. And then there were those who tried to use them. You mean they sought to control the channeling powers of the mediums? Discriminating against a minority is absolutely despicable. A vote for me is a vote to end discrimination. I vow to root it out wherever it may be. That's my promise to you. He's totally ignoring your questions. It's like you're a moderator at a political debate. And only he cares about his talking points. As thrilling as your campaign is, could we please get back to your testimony? As you wish. Now then, as for the crystal of Amy Faye. As thanks, Amy Faye gave the crystal she had specially made as a gift to him. Hold it! You said she had it made, so that it was made in Japan. That's right. They say she hired a famous craftsman to make it. And they say it's quite valuable, too. And you were going to take such a priceless family heirloom and just give it to your patron. That's so typical of you ignorant common types. Making difficult decisions when the chips are down is what being a politician is all about. But only when it's in service of your own political career, you mean. The crystal is a testament to my ancestors' remarkable achievements. And furthermore, I am a descendant of that great lord. Hold it! So tell me, Mr. Atishan Wimperson, are you famous in Kurain Village? That's what's so annoying about hyphenated names. It's always so long. You could say that, but I find my popularity to be rather bemusing. Bemusing? Yes, my campaign protesters keep going missing as soon as I put them up. My avid supporters and female fans are likely taking them home to hang in their bedrooms. Of course, of course. Understandable. I guess ignorance really is bliss. All this only proves my fine lineage.
Hold it!
I'm sorry, but is any of that relevant to the issue of the relic's rightful owner? Have you never heard of kingcraft? Kingcraft! It's the art of ruling as a king. My father drilled it into my head from a young age. And one of its precepts states, ruin awaits a ruler who responds to every single issue posed by the masses. Well, that answered my question about what he meant by king of this nation. Progress. Apollo, who is this Amy Faye anyway? I believe she was the founder of the Kurain channeling technique. The plaintiff claims she had the crystal made for his ancestor. That would mean it was made in Japan, right? I suppose it would. Bum 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 bum. Boom 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 boom. Let's go back to the one with the photo. Here we go. Present! What can we present? Probably the thing itself. What's this? Ah, there it is. Let's try presenting this.
Objection!
You stated that Amy Faye had the crystal made for your ancestor. So am I to assume it was made in Japan? That's right. The craftsmanship is unbeatable. Well, that's strange. I don't see how your so-called crystal could have been made there. What are you talking about? It's quite obvious if you take a closer look at this. Bam! Take a look at the distinctive design here, according to Dr. Buff. It's a Mitama motif dating back to the early days of the Kingdom of Kurain. The Kingdom of Kurain, And you base this on... Here, this piece of evidence, Your Honor. These are the doctor's research notes on the Founder's Orb. This is the box in which the orb was originally stored. It features the same pattern as the one found on the orb. They do look like the same pattern. Therefore, I assert that the disputed item must have been made in the Kingdom of Kurain. My placard!
Objection!
The Kurain channeling technique originated in the Kingdom of Kurain. And Amy Faye is known to have traveled there to train. With that in mind, what's to say she didn't bring that pattern back with her?
Objection!
But since this is clearly a Kurainese design, not even you can deny the possibility that it was made there, in the Kingdom of Kurain.
Objection!
Anything's possible to some extent. That doesn't make it true. So you can't conclude that the orb is from Kurain based solely on that pattern. If it were that simple, I could just as easily say it's Japanese. I have to agree with Mr. Wright. The pattern alone proves nothing. But that also means there's no basis to claim the item in dispute was made in Japan either. At this rate, we're going nowhere fast. He's right. We're just spinning our wheels here. I wonder if we have any evidence that could break the stalemate. Evidence that could break the stalemate. I don't know. It might. The defense would like to present a piece of evidence to the court. A piece that will finally break this stalemate. Well, you've sure piqued my interest. Let's see what you've got. All right. I will now prove that this is, in fact, the Founder's Orb. Oh. That sounded so absolute, it's probably not possible to prove this. What's this again? Nope. Yikes! I don't have anything. Well, I gotta present something. Uh-oh.
Take that!
Yeah, it's not gonna be right. Yes, 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 yes. Come on. It does not exist. There doesn't seem to be anything we could use, at least not at this point. Well, unless we can find something, this trial won't be going anywhere. Looks good. That's much better. What's his deal? I have a suggestion. Why don't we consider this from a different angle? I'm listening. What if the Defiant Dragons really were authorized to take possession of the relic? I'm afraid I don't know where you're going with this, Mr. Wright. Consider the orb transfer agreement, which states, I agree to hand over the Founder's Orb to the Defiant Dragons if I'll come to no harm. What if, as the last part suggests, this was written under duress? That would render the agreement null and void. What are you suggesting, Mr. Wright? While you were on your little cave expedition, I was investigating Dr. Buff's accident. And there was something you overlooked, Mr. Justice. Namely, that his accident might have actually been murder. Murder? Mr. Wright, you do realize such statements are not to be made lightly. Are you suggesting the Doctor was murdered by the Defiant Dragons? Yes, but follow me on this for a sec. The books that came tumbling down were from the archaeology shelf. However, among that mountain of books was a single volume on psychology. What's more, there was some blood on it. And you feel this is important because the books that came tumbling down were from the top shelf, the archaeology books. We know this because the Doctor's books were meticulously organized by subject. Archaeology took up the entire shelf, so that psychology book is completely out of place. Come to think of it, the shelves were arranged quite carefully. It's also worth noting that psychology books only take up a tiny part of the bottom shelf. You might wonder why a book on psychology was found amid the pile of archaeology books. But I believe I can explain what the single out-of-place book was doing there. The Doctor was struck from behind while selecting a psychology book from the shelf. And that's when the blood got on the book. Precisely. And to make it look like an accident, he was buried under a mountain of archaeology books.
Objection!
Wait a second. This is all just speculation, right? Or do you have proof that it was murder? Of course I do. You do? On a hunch, I had Detective Sky examine the Doctor's head wound. She found that he'd been struck by the corner of some object or another. A wound like that couldn't have resulted from a fall to the floor, you know. Do you understand what this means? The wound makes it crystal clear that Dr. Buff was murdered. What? Well, that was unexpected. Who'd have thought we'd break out of the stalemate like this? He pulled the ladder right out from under us. Still, if he thinks that's enough to make me back down, he's got another thing coming. Even if the cause of death was murder, what makes you think it was the Defiant Dragons? You should know better than to hurl baseless accusations.
Objection!
Did you forget who you're up against, Mr. Justice? You didn't actually think I'd come to court without witnesses and evidence, did you? What are you talking about? I'd like to request further testimony from the plaintiff. Specifically, I'd like the court to hear how he saw one of the rebels leaving the crime scene. He saw what? If he can prove it was murder, that's the end of our client's right to the orb. Did he have this up his sleeve the whole time? How could Mr. Wright do this to us? He was just waiting to spring this trap. Here. This trial has taken another unexpected turn. But I must mention, Mr. Wright, that you have yet to identify the murder weapon. The object used to commit the murder was not located at the scene of the crime. The murderer likely disposed of it elsewhere. Well, I never thought we'd be deliberating the issue of murder at a civil trial. All right, Mr. Titian Wimperson, your testimony, if you please. Prepare to be dazzled! Dazzled by charismatic oration forged in the crucible of campaign battles. That evening, I was walking alone, lost in thought. I passed by the doctor's house, and that's when I saw Mr. Arable. He was running out the front door. It was around 10 at night. Surely that must have been him fleeing the scene of his crime. A vote for me is a vote to end such violence. That's my promise to you. So the plaintiff saw a possible suspect fleeing from the doctor's residence. And it was within the window of the estimated time of death? That's horrible. What in the world were you doing there then? It seems Mr. Arble was loitering about Kurain Village that day. There's evidence he was in the doctor's study as well. Isn't that right, Mr. Justice? You mean the suitcase? Exactly. He must have been in quite the rush to leave that behind. Oh, and by the way, Your Honor, Mr. Arble just so happens to be sitting in the gallery today. See? That's him trying to escape as we speak. Bailiff! Don't let that man get away! Right, you backstabber! Why are you doing this to me? All right. The counsel/defense may question the plaintiff/witness once more. Please proceed, Mr. Justice. That evening, I was walking alone, lost in thought.
Hold it!
Why were you taking a walk? Society is inundated with serious problems that must be solved, and as a politician, I'm always on the job, thinking hard about possible solutions, even on my walks. Thanks for the non-answer. While we live out our comfy lives, there are starving children who suffer in the back alleys of our major cities. It's not in me to ignore such suffering. A vote for me is a vote to end hunger, and for world peace. Yes, Mr. Titian Wimperson, we are well aware of your outstanding character. Now please continue with your testimony. I can practically hear my poll numbers surging. Now, on with my speech. After all, the voting public must be informed of the magnificence that is me. Where exactly were you when you saw Mr. Arbel? Right here, under this tree. I saw him dashing out of Dr. Buff's front door. And he didn't notice you. No, I was hidden by the tree. Is it really all that important to know from where the plaintiff saw? Of course. Yes, I believe it matters a lot. I ask that it may please be added to the witness's testimony. Now, let's see here. Wait. Back. Can I go one more? Oh. Let's see what we can possibly present here. That doesn't help. This doesn't help. Ba bum bum da 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 ba da bum. Let's see. Nope. Nope. I feel like if anything was gonna be useful, it'd be this, but this doesn't really help.
Hold it!
What were you doing under that tree? A lack of lateral thinking. That is a politician's downfall. What? That is why, if I'm elected, I promise to think outside the box. The question was, what were you doing under that tree, Mr. Titian Wimperson? I suppose I can't expect a plebeian such as yourself to understand my grand design. Oh yeah? Try me, O Lord of Plebs. Mr. Titian Wimperson, I believe the court is well aware of your grand political vision. Now let's have the rest of your testimony, if you please. I can hardly wait for the upcoming election. He was running out the front door.
Hold it!
Did you notice anything unusual? Yes, his behavior was incredibly suspicious. His eyes were darting all around as he ran off in total panic. As soon as I saw that, I knew he had done something and it probably wasn't good. Despite that, you still didn't report it to the police. Who would have thought he had killed Dr. Buff? Not me. That's why I didn't report him. So the witness didn't notify the police. Is that an important statement? Sure it is. It's important. I request that the witness add it to this testimony. Sure, why not? I had no idea that Dr. Buff was dead. That's why I didn't call the police.
Hold it!
You had no idea he was dead. In other words, you knew nothing about what had happened. I am truly ashamed of myself. What? There's been a gruesome murder in my beloved village. What a fool I've been. I was thinking only of the village's future and world peace. It seems my earnest attitude and industrious nature have come back to haunt me. Only a politician would try to pass off self-aggrandizement as self-deprecation. Apollo, you think this is how all politicians will be from now on? We're all doomed if they are. If you don't mind, I'd like to continue with my testimony. It was around 10 at night. Surely that must have been him fleeing the scene of his crime.
Hold it!
But at the time, you didn't know the doctor was dead, is that correct? It's true that I've been known as a prodigy from a very young age. I graduated high school and college with exceptional grades, as class president. I reformed stale old school traditions. My exploits were even covered in local papers. But as exceptional as I am, I can't possibly expect it to know everything at all times. This isn't working. He keeps bending the questions to serve his own needs. Hang in there, Apollo. Mr. Titian Wimperson, I believe the court is well aware of your exceptional nature. Now, would you please continue? A vote for me is to vote to end such violence. That's my promise to you.
Hold it!
So how do you actually intend to end such violence? Elite politicians such as myself never reveal their strategies. Did you really think I'd divulge such sensitive information to the likes of you? Yeah, but surely you have some sort of campaign platform you're running on? No comment. Clearly, his is a platform told by an idiot full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. He said he saw dats from under the tree. If that's true, then... Did you figure something out? Yeah, I think he's hiding something. Let's take another look at the evidence, Athena. Bum bum. Bum bum. Bum bum. Bum bum bum. Boop boop bop boop boop bop bop. Dun 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 dun.
Objection!
Uh-oh. Well, that's too bad. Alright, hold on. What was the one we added to the other one? Oh, okay. Oh, hold on. Let's try this one.
Objection!
Ah, there it is. Mr. Otishan Wimperson, rather than Mr. Arble. Wasn't there something else that should have had your undivided attention? Like what? Oh, yes, of course. A politician must also keep his finger on the electorate's pulse and focus on the nation's... Sorry, but you're way off. I am? Would you care to explain, Mr. Justice? If the witness saw Mr. Arble from his position here, then he should have also been able to see the doctor's body. After all, it was right next to a huge window. Why, I believe you have a point there. With the body that clearly visible to the witness, it's unthinkable that he wouldn't have reported it to the police. Ah. Would the witness care to respond? Did he fall asleep? Mr. Otishan Wimperson. There are many sides to any issue. What did I ever do to deserve this? In any case, I'd like the court to acknowledge the inconsistency of the witness's testimony. And with that, we're going to end this video here at 33 minutes, so stay tuned tomorrow for the next episode. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye!